So this is funny because I'm wearing the same shirt I wore in my last video. And I'm not saying that you should do this, but I'm in traffic on my way in rush hour. I don't work this morning, but it is what it is. So I don't know. I just felt like this was an opportunity and a time to talk about something that was on my mind, because I know I haven't given an update or anything like that recently. And to be honest with you, I started out, I was like, yeah, I'll do an update every week. That'll be nice. Didn't do that because I started to kind of wonder why I wanted to do it that way. Like, I know I said, oh, I just want to do this for myself, but then there were those thoughts of like, oh, maybe I just am, since I'm off social media, I'm like, maybe I just don't want to be dead to the world right now. And, there's still something that's super self-seeking in me that just wants eyes on me somewhere. Like, that's probably the voice of the enemy, but I still wanted to take time to think about it. I know, it's just complicated. But the thing I was thinking about as I was driving today is just, it just came. It just was like, you're like, seriously, in my life, I'm not a slave to sin anymore. And I think that is something that just like, came with the baptism of the Holy Spirit, just came with, realizing that I could absolutely not do life the same way that I was doing it before. And people probably like read that scripture or hear that places and they're like, that sounds ridiculous. But, like, let's break it down. Like, what was I a slave to? Like, depression, anxiety, trying to please people, a slave to what society wants me to look like, what I feel society expects from a person, a slave to the image that I was chasing in my life. A lot of it was a lot of just like self-seeking, to be honest with you, because like I said, I spent a lot of time on social media trying to just like create this image for my life. And I didn't really see it that way, but to be honest with you, that's all that it was. Is like, oh, things are really shitty, things are really bad right now. I'm really trying to guard my mouth. It's a slow and steady process. But I was like, I'm really having, not the best time of my life. Like, my marriage wasn't good. My finances were really bad. I wasn't happy at work, which was ridiculous because I was in like the best environment to foster healing, I think. And I still am. I was a slave to fixing all of the problems in my life, like with different methods. Like, I did Reiki, I did crystal healing, I was taking all of these classes, I was doing EFT and TFT, NLP, like just all of these things. I was teaching myself, and I went to school, I went to college for 3 years to become a counselor, because there's a handful of counselors out there who are like, yeah, I just wanted to be a counselor, be a psychologist so that I could fix my own problems and I could help other people too. I was a part of that handful. I know it's a bit dramatic. No, not to hurt people's feelings, but I mean, for me, it was kind of like, oh, woe me, to be honest, for me. I don't know about you. Stepping on toes today. But so I was just a slave to all of these things. I know, I'm just not super graceful right now. This wasn't planned, and I'm like trying to keep my eye on the road, so I don't even care how many double chins there are in those videos. I'm just over it. But I was just this absolute slave to those things in my life. And it's just crazy because there's so many people who are like, no, if you're a Christian, like, God owns you. And it's like, well, yeah, but that's 1,000 times better than just wandering around crazy and not even realizing that you're chained up, like not even realizing all the things in your life of the world that just own you. Like, seriously, think about what owns you. If you think of, like, just sit back and think about, like, oh, what could I do without, like, could I do without this? Could I do without these? Could I, not do this anymore? And if you could seriously sit there and think like, no, I'm pretty sure that I have to, take this medicine to be happy, or no, I'm pretty sure I have to do yoga every day and spend 30 minutes of peaceful emptying out my brain meditation time in order to get any relief in the world. Like, I was a slave to chasing those things. I spent so much time, and it was a rat race. It was never fulfilling. It was never satisfying. And I'm telling you, like, this, I'll say it over and over again probably, because I just don't think people understand that, like, and my friends too, like, they're just like, how could you just change, like, how can you just change your mind so quickly overnight? Like, I don't understand. I mean, that was my life. Like, I literally would wake up every day. I had, like, all these insane morning routines. I made a new morning routine, like, once every quarter. I was a crazy person about chasing specific goals, because I felt like that's what I needed in order to be successful, because I didn't feel successful otherwise. I went to college but didn't get a degree. I wasn't working full time. I felt kind of useless. Like, I was just seeking all of these things that would, like, fill the holes that were honestly just, like, getting bigger and bigger in my life. And I mean, I was just an absolute slave. So, like, I was sitting here thinking, you know, I'm so excited. Like, this morning I woke up and I was just excited to just, like, spend some time with the Lord before I go in and volunteer this morning. And I was excited to just, like, make my husband breakfast and make him smile and just, you know, make him feel special, because he doesn't normally eat breakfast. So I just did it so he couldn't, you know, be like, no. I mean, he's not going to deny food if you put it in front of him. Like, they all secretly want food, I think. And I just woke up and, like, took communion, and it was just a special time. And, like, here I am. It's Halloween, which I'm trying not to even recognize, because, like, that's another thing that I just can't unsee. Like, I just don't care that this is happening today. I'm praying for some weather tonight. I'm praying for, like, some rain. I'm praying for, like, I don't care what your church says, or, you know, if you have a little fall festival and you're like, oh, this is, you're just dressing up another pagan holiday a different way. Like, it's okay to have celebrations. It's okay to celebrate life, but, like, when you're driving down the road and the holidays, like, you're basically seeing skulls everywhere and tombstones, and you don't find that creepy, then I think that you have some things that you need to look at. I don't know. I've said that to my husband, and he was just like, what's your problem with kids getting candy? Like, why can't they dress up and get candy? I'm like, it's just, you know, you're just taking everything else that's creepy about the holiday and dressing it up and making it look nice and cute so that you're desensitizing children, and I don't think that's cool. Like, yeah, I always participated in Halloween as a child. I also was absolutely terrified. Every Halloween, like, I just couldn't sleep. I was just terrified. Like, I just knew there was bad stuff going on. And I mean, I know it's a pagan holiday, but there's still probably bad stuff going on. It's not like people who actually practice, like, knowingly demonic things, like, it's not like this isn't a heyday for them. Anyways, so I don't even know how I got on that, but, you know, I'm sitting here on this day, October 31st, and I'm driving, and I'm thinking, like, I seriously, like, I'm excited to go home and read my Bible. I'm in Job right now. Like, my goal is to finish. I read the New Testament in, like, a couple of months. Like, I was just super hungry, and I just ate it up. And I've been listening to, well, I've only listened to parts of the Old Testament, but I've been reading the Old Testament probably since, I don't know, August or September, I think, and I'm in Job. And my goal is to finish it by the new year, because I think it would just be cool to see how many times I could read it in a year. I know that sounds dumb, but it's also like, if I read it once all the way through, then I feel like I'll have an idea of what's going on, when otherwise, you know, I don't have a whole lot of experience in that area. Like, I want a bigger picture, and then I feel like the next times around I'll be able to spend more time like really focusing in and, like, really studying, because to be honest with you, I'm not spending as much quality time as I should. Like, I'm just getting it in, and then, you know, I'll read stuff and be like, wow, that's great, and then I move on. Like, that's not the way to read the Bible, but I just feel like, to satisfy probably my flesh. I just need to read it through one time before I like really get into things. So anyways, how do we get on that too? I don't know. This like whole driving thing and just talking and ranting is not safe for anyone. But yeah, I had that thought. I was like, I'm literally like, I feel like I understand what that means now. Like, I'm absolutely, like, I'm not a slave to sin in my life. Like, I'm not interested in the earthly things. Like, I guess maybe I was thinking about, because I've been taking better care of my skin, because I'm not interested in wearing just like heaps of makeup all the time, because what's the point? Like, if you have nice skin, you don't have to wear makeup. So why, like, our society is like so obsessed right now. It's like you put on layers and layers and layers, and you're like, oh, you gotta put on foundation, and you gotta contour, and then you're gonna bake it, and then you're gonna contour again, and then you're gonna put on some more foundation for whatever reason, and then you need to use this product, and then I'm like, and most of the people, like, you watch these tutorials, not to say it's true every single time, but you watch these tutorials, and like most of the people that are like keeping on makeup like this, like, they don't have nice skin. It's like they literally are a slave to their hour-long, 30 minutes to an hour-long process of putting on makeup every day just to feel acceptable, just because they're gonna cover up what's underneath. It's like, that's like that's our society right now. Like, we're literally just putting band-aids on everything, and it sucks, and I just don't want that to be my life. Like, I was putting on so many band-aids on things. I was, like I said, with the Reiki, with yoga, like, just, I wasn't confronting the issues, which were like, first, like, my soul was like, I was just rotting inside. I was just rotting. I was resentful. I was angry all the time. I was bitter. I was envious. I always wanted what other people wanted. Nobody tells you this. Like, I've always been raw. I've always been honest. Like, people tend to not like me for that reason, because I just like tell you exactly how I'm experiencing it, and I try to do things in a way that isn't hurtful for other people, but like, I am brutally honest when it comes to myself, and I always have been, and I thank God for that now, because I think that that's a huge quality that He's always given me, and it has made this process a lot easier for me. There's been parts obviously that aren't easy, but man, I'd so much rather, like, you're a slave either way. Like, think about this. Like, before basically I was converting back to Christianity, which I never really thought that I was getting away from it in the first place, but like, I was an awful Christian. And when I was really depressed, I like, going to work was, and my job, like, I don't even have a hard job. I have a job where I get to go and love on people all day. It's like, and that was my dream job, because I feel like I was born to be a mother. Like, all my life, like, I was born to be a mom. And like, to think that doing something similar to that was like pulling teeth, it's like, something's not right. Like, that's just not lining up. And I used to feel like just miserable every day, because I couldn't get enough time to myself, and like, it was just never enough time to decompress. It was never enough time to like get my life together, because I was just broken. Like, I would be in the car driving to work when I had 2 jobs, like 2 years ago or so, I think that was, and I would just be crying in the car, because I was just like, I'm never gonna be able to get it together. Like, I would be talking to customers, and like, I couldn't not cry. Like, I was just like miserable on the inside out, and it was just ridiculous. And I'm like, I was just such a slave to all the fixes. I don't know. I feel like I'm just repeating things, but now that I am where I am, which I'm in a really good place right now, which is crazy to say. Like, my main issues before that I used to blame everything on was I got really good at practicing depression and anxiety. And, I just got really good at it. And, like, to think that I wake up and, yeah, I take hormones, but I'm dialing back on them. And the hormones do help with symptoms of depression and anxiety. But I think most of it was, like, I was literally just rotting on the inside and just putting Band-Aid on Band-Aid on Band-Aid. And now that I'm diving into the Word, the Bible is fuel. It is absolute fuel, and I mean that with every ounce of my heart. And I'm just excited to, I don't know, and it's just weird because I never have felt like this before, but I am actually excited to be waking up in the morning. I'm excited to go about my day. At the end of the day, I'm wow, I just can't believe today was so good. And life was never like that before. I think that speaks for something. Yes, I spend a lot of time reading the Bible. Yes, I spend a lot of time listening to sermons. Yes, I spend a lot of time studying, just listening to teachers that I think, and just following thought trails, just following trails of questions that I have. And I invest a lot of time. I'm not watching reality TV. I'm not on social media right now. I'm really denying myself a lot of the fleshly things that I used to spend so much time doing. I'm excited. I'm excited to work out. I've been working out again, and the way that I, not trying to manipulate it, but I was I want a healthy vessel. I'm tired of feeling like junk because I eat like junk. I'm tired of, that's another big thing for me, is gluttony. I just, the food is never enough. Whenever I'm having a spiritual attack, one of the first ways I'll notice before I snap back out of it and I'm okay, this is what's happening, is I'm just eating a ton of food. I'm eating awfully. I'm just doing all those things that we do, especially women, where we're okay, I need to take a shower. Okay, I'm gonna do lotion. Okay, I need to take care of my skin. I need to do this. I need to put makeup on. And then you put nice clothes on. You're I'm not satisfied with any of it. That's when I start going into that cycle. I know I'm under spiritual attack because my flesh is weak. I'm just giving in and giving in and feeding it. And I'm you know what? Nothing's coming out because it's all, none of it's substance. It's all just crap. So I've been filling myself up with a bunch of substance when I work out. I want this healthy vessel. I want to be in working order. I want to be a pleasing wife. I want to be a strong body for, my children eventually. And I'm trying to change my verbiage because I know that our words matter, but in the past, I've always had weak ankles. In the past, I've had a lot of back pain. And I'm really trying to reverse that and take care of those things before I have kids, because I want to be an active mom. I want to be able to do those things. And oh my gosh, it's almost 8 o'clock already. I'm gonna be late. It's okay. I'm a volunteer. They don't care if I'm there or not, really. They do. That's a bad attitude to have. But I just want this healthy vessel. So when I'm working out, I know this is the most painful thing to listen to ever, probably. So if you're listening to this and you're just listening because you care, or just following whatever's going on right now, or if this is helping you through your own thing, then, thanks for being patient with just everything. I know that, you'd think that this would be one of the things that would improve over time, but, I didn't prepare. I didn't worship this morning. This is just kind of raw and fleshly, to be honest with you. But when I work out, I have my workout room set up. It used to be where I would do Reiki and yoga. I'm trying to repurpose it and rebrand it. So when I walk in, the first thing I'm thinking about is I'm getting this vessel healthy for the Lord. I've had my chalkboard set up, and it's got different verses on it, the Spirit of the Lord does not make us timid, but makes us strong. Something along the lines of that. I'm just losing it. I haven't had coffee yet, which is another thing that another thing that I'm just a slave to still. Is all of these things, how many times throughout the day do you just, if you don't have something or something doesn't go right or whatever, are you just thrown off? If that is so, then you are a slave to that thing. I would much rather be a slave to righteousness, to truth, to peace, to, kindness, to love. I would rather be willingly a slave to those things than just be going about life, not even realizing that I can't even function without all these earthly things. Like, that's where a lot of people are right now. And man, I was really in it like 6 months ago. And it's crazy to me that that much time has already passed by, because like when I was depressed and when I was like just gobbling up all the earthly things, trying to fill the voids, like time went by so slow. I thought it was never going to end. And now I'm like, summer's over. I really don't want summer to be over. Like, man, it's already winter. It's like, it's snowing here right now. And I just don't want, I just want to soak up every ounce of time that I have right now, because I'm just loving it. And, people don't realize how much power you really have when you are choosing where you put your attention and when you are giving it to God. Like, people don't realize how powerless you are when you are, I have to do all these things in order for life to be right. You know what I mean? Like, when we're just scrambling around trying to figure it out for ourselves, and we're just, a slave to all of these earthly things in our lives without even realizing it. Like, there's these people walking around, they're like, no, girl power. Like, I have the power. Like, if I get in a fight with my husband about feminism, I am powerful. It's like, no, you don't understand that is so weak. Like, you don't understand, like, that quiet dignity. Like, your dignity is, what I'm saying, I'm not getting it right now, but that's really just, that's all I'm thinking about, is I'm just happy. Like, you're a slave either way. Like, you go to work every day. You can either be a slave to a job that you hate, a life that you hate, or you can give it to God. And, I don't need to turn here. Or you can give it to God, who has the perfect plan for you, who loves you and is never gonna keep anything good from you. Anything else is a lie. I'm going through puberty right now. And you can live a life that you're just, like, that you truly love. Like, you don't have to be, grabbing for scraps to get approval from yourself and from God when you're just walking, like, just saying, where do you want me? Like, where do you want me? That's what I did when this volunteer opportunity came up, because it just came up and I felt like he was just saying, you're not going to be able to imagine where this is going to take you right now, but step out in obedience and I will bless you. And I have felt that, like, man, I have felt that ever since I started this opportunity. I started, like, these hours opened up, like, my brain, it was like mostly the blockages in my brain. Like, I just wasn't seeing that there were opportunities for full-time at work. God made a way, and now I'm working full-time at work, which is one of the things that I said I wanted to do by the end of these 90 days of the year, is I wanted to be working full-time, which is, like, it happened. And so I've been blessed financially. Like, I've been blessed in my marriage. I've been blessed, like, and I've only done one shift so far, because last week we were in Minnesota, but it's like, there's all of these places where it's like, just, if you feel like God's telling you to do something, just do it. Like, even if you don't see where it's going, just know, like, do you know that you have a good God? Like, do you know that your Father is, like, He loves you more than any earthly person that you've ever known? Like, think of the most loving person that you know. Would they ever do something bad? Like, the most loving person that you know, would they ever do something bad? Would they ever tell you to do something that would hurt you? Would they ever ask you to do something that wasn't good for you? It's like, okay, you have the perfect Father. Is He ever going to ask you to do something that isn't going to produce miracles in your life or in other people's lives? It's like, where does the distrust come from? We have to have faith in those areas, and just doing that has made, a huge difference for me. So, I don't know, that's a 24-minute long video? Oh, man. Nobody's going to watch that. It's okay. Well, I'm going to park, but I just thought I'd share what was on my mind, and I don't know if I'll post this or not, but I don't know if I really want to post a video of me being illegal and, like, videoing while I'm driving, but We'll see. I'll pray about it. Maybe I'll just keep this one for myself, but, you know, I don't know. That's kind of a good point. Kind of a good point. Anyways, all right. That's all for today. Happy October 31st. For no special reason.